right. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences and memories that playing tabletop games with friends and family can create. Today, we're going to be talking about luck in games. And I guess we'll kind of start out here with what I've been playing recently. Played the Persona 5 kind of fan game. That one was actually pretty interesting. It's a 2-player co-op or 1-player game, depending upon which way you want to, and who you have available. But yeah, me and the girlfriend, she brought it over. She had picked it up off of Etsy or something like that. So that one has very thematic. I don't know if you're familiar with Persona 5, but it's kind of your group of teenagers and you need to make friends, and your relationships with other people give you additional abilities that you use to then dive into the dungeon and fight the different shadows that are there. And a lot of those shadows have like on enter abilities. You need to kind of progress through the dungeon, and as you do that, it makes it harder to get in and out of the dungeon, like depending upon which boss you're going after. We wound up winning on the last day. So it also has a calendar element too. So every day you're either going out collecting resources, getting uh, establishing friendships with people, increasing your attributes. You have to kind of balance. All right, am I strong enough to jump in and help clear out part of the dungeon now or not?
Don't
And
don't you have to like
yeah,
shoot yourself or something to be able to get in there?
no, that's Persona 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
My
Persona
bad.
5 is no. Persona 5 is all strictly on heist. It's
Ah,
more of the the feel there because you're going in and stealing a treasure. You're
okay.
thieves. Yeah. No, that was the edgy one.
Oh, that was the edgy one. Okay.
Yeah. And I guess the other kind of big one that I played that was new was Great Western Trail New Zealand. Played that on TTS last night, and I have to say I really liked it. I mean, I already, Great Western Trail was already kind of one of my favorite games, and I feel like a lot of the shortcomings that, I see with the game, with the base game at least, I looks like they address, a lot of those in New Zealand. I don't have you guys had a chance to play it yet or not?
No, but is that your favorite version at this point?
I would say it's my favorite version.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pick up a copy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it is. So I mean, like with the base game, there's a lot of deck management, building, the worker placement as well, with the different buildings that are out there. Uh, the few wrinkles that change is about halfway through the game, some of the action spots flip over and become a different action. So they kind of modify between early and late game because some of the things that happen on it, not as useful late game as they would be early game, and it kind of changes where you're going. There's another kind of resource track, which is the bird track. I don't know what its actual name is, but you collect birds to get it. So I think it's like an exploration or something like that. Is what it's called.
You deliver meat, and then you collect birds for some unknown reason.
Yep. And
Yeah,
but yeah,
because.
yeah. And the player boards are also completely different.
Okay.
Yeah. Movement isn't as much as it is kind of that you can get in the base game. And you also have fewer obvious choke points in the game too. So it's a lot harder to, with like one single building or even just two buildings, make it so people have to pay a ton of money to try and go, either path kind of thing. It's a lot harder to do that. I wound up doing it accidentally in our play, and that wasn't actually my intention. But I was like, oh well, hey, you what? I've made a bunch of money off of this.
Sure.
It,
Yeah,
it
I was
was
concerned that it was just going to almost be really a reskin of the old one, but it sounds like that implemented enough to really make it worthwhile to pick up a new copy.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it has like kind of like the Rails of the North section, but it's like with the ship navigating, which is different, and you're collecting sheep, and they have two different values. There's the value for trading them at the end, which there's not as many points, it's not as heavy-handed for delivering there. I actually focused heavily on the other aspect of the cards, and that was their shearing value. So there's another action you can take where you can trade in cards before you get to the final destination, and you shear them to collect money. And you also can unlock, especially with the new board on top area, you can um get additional locations to deliver your sheared sheep to, and you collect other additional points that way and money. And so I just wound up building an engine, and neither one of them did shearing. So I pretty much had, maxed out I got hired all the sheep shearers. There's 4 employees now. The track's not as long, so it's a little bit easier to max them out. I'm like everything. A lot of things feel like they reduced things that were too much, and then they kind of increased complexity in other ways. So like the cattle market, is replaced the sheep one, and it is much different. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It single-handedly had a sheep shearing shop.
Yep.
And you wouldn't share.
No, I wouldn't.
Horrible alliteration, but I was working on it.
Yeah. You know what? Thing is though, like on my part of the map where I was sailing, we held nothing but Ed Sheeran concerts.
Oh, that was worse, but I'll go with it.
All right.
Nathan's still gone. He's like, I quit.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's
forever.
checked out. All right. Well, all right. I guess with that here, we'll go ahead and let Nathan here go next with what he's been playing.
Okay, I have been playing Spectre Ops. Now, this is an older title. It's a hidden movement title where one player plays as a Spectre and everybody else plays as hunters.
Wait,
It is
not
asymmetrical.
Everyone, yeah, Spectres, and you have Ops, but I bet it's Spectres and a hunt. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
It's asymmetrical. When you start the game, you get to pick your agent or hunter, and each one has powers. So the different combinations of powers can be very interesting. But you don't know what the other side chose, and how those interact can be pretty critical. Because, I played it once where I was playing as the agent, and the hunters played 2 hunters that really worked well together, and my agent didn't work well against them. And I played another one where almost the opposite happened. I kept canceling out the powers of one of the people, and I just wiped the floor with them. But basically, in this game, it's hidden movement. So the agent is moving along the map, trying to get to 3 different mission objectives. And they don't have to announce they completed that objective till the turn after they did. Or basically, they start the turn there and they move away. So they already have a chance to get away before they announce, oh, I did something. And overall, it's a really strong hidden movement game. But the different powers add a lot to consider. It can be very, very stressful. And depending on the combination of powers that people chose, it can be heavily favoring one side or the other. So, fun game, has some flaws. I think there's a lot of hidden movement games that have done it better. And that's all I've really been playing lately.
Oh, man. What the heck? All right, who do you want to have go, Nathan?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as far as hidden movement games, like, how does it compare to, like, let's say, Fury of Dracula or anything like that?
Or Whitechapel or any of those, yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, Whitechapel is still probably my favorite. Fear of Dracula. Fear of Dracula is very different than this one, and actually, this is a little bit closer to Whitechapel, but the powers make it a lot more involved. But as far as the complexity level, it shares a bit more with Fury of Dracula. I was never really terribly thrilled with Fear of Dracula. I never liked the combat that much. And the
You don't
rules were
like
a
rock,
little
paper,
bit-
scissors? You don't like rock, paper. Or vampire, paper, sun.
Yeah, basically. There was always a little bit of
It's vampire garlic.
unclarity with especially how combat works. It's like, okay, you have day actions and night actions, and then combat happens either at dawn or dusk. So is that day or night? I don't know.
Or you could do sun. Yeah. Yeah. I've played Fury of Dracula several times. If I play it again, it'll be the digital app all the time. I don't think I'll ever play the physical version again. And even then, the digital app, if I can play something else, I will. But if someone's like dead set on, I'm going to play Fury of Dracula, I'm like, we're playing the digital app. No, I don't.
The only problem I have with those two games is it's so easy for for the Dracula or Jack the Ripper to completely run away from the game if the people just don't pick up.
There's some tricks that you can do as the hunters that make it very, very difficult for the Dracula. And there's like they did a whole algorithm where you can find Dracula almost guaranteed every time really quick.
Yeah, well, Fear of Dracula, it's hard for new players. I think that's what
that has definitely happened. If you don't work together as a team, like 100% of the time, Dracula just runs circles around. They don't.
I think Letters from Whitechapel, if it was taught well, it's easy enough to pick up. That I think, maybe you screw up on the first night, but you kind of get it.
Someone like Nathan just walks straight down a road, and you're like, "I got you." He's like, "I was just trying to say, like, no one would ever think I'd walk straight down a road."
Yeah, sometimes you try something really stupid, knowing it's really stupid, thinking that nobody would think you would do something really stupid, and everybody thinks you're going to do something really stupid.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of more like the low-hanging fruit. You got to at least check. It's like, all right, well, they could be there, so let's just go and check.
Yeah, at the beginning, I'm like, I know Nathan's walking behind us. And he was. That's like, nah.
That is a real big temptation in that game, is just, just follow the hunters around. It's super risky. It's super dumb, but it's fun.
Duck around the corner.
Joke's on you. I excel at dumb.
All right, Nathan, who do you want to have go next for
Let's go with Evan next.
All right.
Well, what I've been playing, so recently I got to the table. I got the Ed Sheeran edition of Monopoly to the game.
Full circle.
Nice. Which actually I did look up. It is an actual game. Apparently. So one game that I got to the table recently, if I can get it.
The Spill.
There it is. The Spill. So the Spill, you are working together as specialists, cleaning up an oil spill, trying to save the wildlife and contain the oil spill before it spills out from the area. The table presence for this game is phenomenal. It's got this really cool dice tower in the middle that you use, and you drop black dice down in it, and it puts it out into different quadrants, and that's where the oil is actually going out. So it adds a really cool random element to the game. But as you play it, if you have played Pandemic, you are going to pick up a very big Pandemic vibe from this game. Doesn't make it a bad game. I am not a huge Pandemic fan, so this wasn't a great hit for me. But James and I were talking the other day, and as he edits my videos for me because he's amazing, he saw that too. It's a good step for someone that has played Pandemic and is not sure where to go from that. This would be a very good pick for that game, for those style gamers. But not a bad game. Another game that I got to play recently was Raiders of the North Sea. Got to play that. Uh, Raiders of the North Sea, it's a worker placement game, singular. You put down a worker, pick up a worker, build up your resources, go raid. Beat James. It was good. Good time. We've talked about that so many times on this channel, so I don't really have to delve into that very much. Got that recently, and the last thing that I got to the table is
Oh yeah,
Disney's The Haunted Mansion. So got that from James with the idea of playing that with my youngest, who is 6. In there, you're in the haunted mansion and you're going around and you only have a couple actions. And the idea is basically set collection with the game. And for a Funko game, which sometimes are not great, they did a actually really good job with a very lightweight game that's actually very easy to understand and actually kind of fun to do. Probably one of those that will get repetitive playing it multiple times, but the age I think on the box is 10, and I taught it to my 6-year-old and he won with very, very little help. Like we gave him like 2 pieces of advice through the entire thing and like help him read some of the stuff, but once he got through that, he played it and I think he won by over 15 points. He did really well. But yeah, it's I really liked it. The wife liked it also, so it was a good time. Oh, and, one more, and we also got another play of the King's Dilemma in, and everyone has turned the table on John. It was glorious. We loved it.
Yes.
Down with his rule.
Look, they're just mad because House Sanders just wound up like picking the name of the the next king frequently.
So this will be the tale of the rise and fall of House Sanders.
Pretty much. Here's the thing is though, I except for like that last turn, I was finally tied Evan.
Oh,
Tied Evan for prestige. All right, or was I one ahead? I can't remember.
No, you were tied.
Tied. I finally tied him. All right, and everybody else is like, oh, we gotta defeat House Sanders.
I love it. House Sanders must go down. Why? Because there's Popeyes.
That just sounds like Evan did a good job.
Yeah,
House
did a
Sanders
good job of
stands in
turning
an
the table
island
against
amongst
me.
themselves.
If you want to understand this feud, you definitely should watch our video on Broom Surface. Yes.
Especially at the very end,
Yeah,
when John's
especially
like,
the very...
you better have beaten him by more than one.
And he didn't.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh, man.
But that's all I've gotten recently. So, James?
Yeah, so the spell, I love the production quality on it, but I think it'll be great for new players to learn. But yeah, and I'm
Absolutely.
really glad the kid liked the Haunted Mansion. That's a pretty good production quality too. I never ever understand glow in the dark pieces in a board game. You're not playing it in the dark, so it's just like whatever. But it's still a cool piece.
And it's Disney level art in the entire thing, which is really, really good.
And the cool thing is they're apparently redoing it, so there'll be a new Haunted Mansion video.
Yeah.
I didn't see the first, so maybe I should watch that and then the second, but I mean, who knows? So I have 3 games. One's a really short one, but it's really fun, and this is Air, Land, and Sea. I never say this right. And if you watch the video I did, you'll notice that I can't say Air, Land, and Sea in the right order. But this is Critters at War. There is 0 difference between this and Air, Land, and Sea. However, the art is definitely more interesting in this one and more colorful. The Air, Land, and Sea game, the art's pretty much generic and meh. But this game is a 2-player game only, and you're going to play over 3 theaters, and you have to win 2 theaters. If you win 2 theaters, you're going to get X amount of points. Max is 6. But you can get up, first person in 12 points wins. But the key to this game here is actually the bluffing. So there's only 18 cards in the entire game. Each theater has cards 1 through 6, okay? everything that's not 6, so 1 through 5, has a special power or special thing that it does. Flipping, non-flipping cards. On your turn, you're going to get 6 of these cards. Your opponent will get 6 of these cards, and 6 of the cards will never know what they are. On your turn, you can either play a card to its matching theater, so it has to match the theater, and you get a special ability, fire off or whatever, or you can play a card face down for 2 power, and it doesn't have to match the theater. Or you can basically concede. So if you concede, you're going to have a chart based on whether you're first or second player, and that's how many points the person you conceded to get. So it is like a really cool, actual functional bluffing game with 2 players that actually works. Because you have a little bit of fog. You don't know exactly what each other player has, but you have a general idea. And you want to win, but if you're not going to win, you need to bow out sooner than later so that you can maybe win a different game. So I really like it for that. I really like the superpowers. There's a lot of things to think about. Because you remember I said you could put one face down? Well, some of the cards let you flip cards over. You can flip your opponent's card over or your card over. So there might be a strategy where you need to win a theater. You'll put one that doesn't belong there. You'll play another card to flip it over so you have more. So there's a lot of really cool strategy to this simple 2-player game. Only 18 cards, really easy to teach. It's one of those games that's odd. The more you play it, the better the game gets, and that's because you memorize the cards. So the more you play with other players, the better this gets as a 2-player game. So that was Air, Land, and Sea. I keep saying Land, Air, and Sea for some reason, but it's Air, Land, and Sea, Critters at War. The other one I actually played when I was visiting Nathan, but I got a copy, and this game is amazing. Furnace is amazing. It is amazing. It's amazing. So one of my favorite games ever created was Spirium. And this has the same vibes. In Spirium, you're going to be placing meeples down to try to get cards to build an engine in which they're calling it Spirium, but it's coal. So you have apartments, you have buildings, you're firing off engines, you're trying to get points. Well, in Furnace, they've simplified, because what took up all that time was placing those meeples down around the pieces in Spirium, because you'd have to pull your meeple off, and depending on how many meeples are around it, makes the card more expensive. So you might not be able to afford it, but if you pull that meeple off, you'll get a coin for every card, every meeple that's around the card. So there was a lot of play that you had to go through to get those cards per round. Well, in Furnace, you still have the same idea. You actually have 4 rounds in Furnace. And in Furnace, they have a really cool bidding mechanism that you're going to get in the game. So it's very simple. It's very straightforward. You just can't have the same number on there, and you can't have the same color. So when you put it down, you put your piece down. If you're I will bid on all this array of cards based on player count. When the round's over for that, and you all get to get your cards, whoever wins the bid gets the card, but everyone that lost the bid gets resources or gets to fire off whatever's on the top of the card as many times as their losing bid token. And that part's super fun, super interactive. But once you get those cards, you can create these really cool engines. And you can upgrade the cards. Yes. And Nathan has a copy of Furnace. The only one here that doesn't have a copy of Furnace is Evan. I'd have to change it. I think Evan would love Furnace. It's a really cool game. It doesn't actually, this is like an oversized box. This could fit in a box a quarter of the size.
Unless you want to go and add,
I wanted to play that expansion. What did you think of it?
I haven't had a chance to play it yet myself.
Oh, okay. I really want to play the expansion. I love the base game. It's replacing Spirium for me. I will not get rid of Spirium because it is like an amazing game, but it had replaced it for me.
Well, so here's the thing. So if I'm going to really, really like that game and I need to play it, John, I'm going to have to play it with you because James has many empty promises of playing games with me.
Well, the other cool thing is, how I said Spirium takes a long time? Spirium can't be played under 60 minutes. It's not even possible. We have tried to speed run it at lunch hours and it can't happen. Furnace, you can do that with. Furnace can go fast. Furnace, we could play Like at SibCon, we have a 4-hour slot. We could probably play it 6 times. Especially
Yep.
once you get through that first game, you'll be like, boom, 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 boom. Really good game. A lot of cool thought.
Yep. Now, did you play it in hard mode?
Yes. I actually like it better in hard mode, but I don't think I would ever start someone in that.
No.
So just always talking, really, when you get your cards and you put them out for your engine, you don't need to have them in order. You can fire them off in any order as you want, as long as you don't do them twice. But in hard mode, you do set an order that they have to be fired in, which incidentally is how Spirium works. Spirium, by default, you build an order and everything has to fire off that way. Or supposed to. But yeah. So my last game is Marvel Dice Throne. Marvel Dice Throne is Yahtzee with a theme, gamified. So Dice Throne's the same way. You basically get Yahtzee dice, 5 dice. You roll them up to 3 times, Yahtzee style rules. And you try to get straights, or you try to get full houses, or you try basically get your same ideas of Yahtzee to fire off special abilities on your player. So if you're playing as like Scarlet Witch, you're going to have your own abilities you're going to fire off. However, it goes a layer deep than just Yahtzee and getting points. It's a negative points. So basically when you get those, you're going to do damage to your opponent and you're going to take them down. So you're trying to get them down to 0 points. Also, you have a whole hand of cards that can change things up. You can upgrade your abilities. You have all these different decisions that you can make in the game. Are you going to be spending your combat points, which is the currency in the game, to play these cool special abilities to mess with other people's rolls or defend yourself a little better? Or are you going to try to upgrade your abilities and spend your combat points that way? Very easy game to teach. Rules are very simplified. Your leaflet and your player board give you everything you want. There is an abundance of help on the back of your leaflet. So one weird thing is you put all your status effects that you can use on your leaflet. I always tell people to not put them on the leaflet, put them beside it, because you're probably going to be flipping that over if you haven't played that character again, to read like the suggestions on how to play it and how the things interact. But it's really cool. It's a really fast game. So it's light and fast, and you have some really cool things you can do that are thematic by character that you're playing, and they have different like difficulties for the different ones. So if you're playing a new person, let them play Spider-Man. It's the easiest one, and you can play like Loki, which is one of the harder ones, or something. But fun. If you're looking for a heavy game or like a medium weight game, this is a lightweight game. So, yeah, it is what it is. I know Evan has a copy. I didn't know if you got to play it yet. But
Not yet.
whenever you get a chance, I could teach that to you in like 1 minute flat, and you can be off to the races.
I'm just kind of reminded of a game that I played at Origins. Kapow. I don't know if you're
I
familiar.
haven't played Kapow. I've heard of it, but I have not played it.
It's pretty good. It's also like a dice comic book themed game.
Okay.
And you actually like it's kind of a partial. You're trying to guess what the other person's going to do,
Okay.
while also trying to adjust to what you rolled. So it's kind of, you both, roll your dice at the same time. You set up. It's like, all right, I feel like I definitely need, need to swing hard this round, or like I got the perfect roll to swing really hard. You also kind of like buy more dice with that too.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, I think they're buying dice this turn. So if I do this, it'll punish them for doing that. And you just kind of like, it's like, okay, do I take that risk or not? And like some of the dice you can buy are modular dice. So you actually
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. So you make that die have the faces that you want for the different types of abilities that you can activate.
Now there is custom dice in Marvel Dice Throne, but in no way is it even near the strategy level of what you just described. This game here is going to be, you just want to play. I know you can play up to 4 players, but it's really just a 2-player game, really. It's fast, it's simple. Don't muddy it with more players. Just play a 2-player. It's not quite like if you want something more complicated, it sounds like Kapow's a good one. Oh, what's that other one I have? Shoot, it's real. Oh yeah, it's right there. Unmatched. Unmatched is a far more strategic game than Marvel Dice Throne. Marvel Dice Throne is basically like 4 or 5 steps above Yahtzee for strategy, because you have player interaction. But yeah, no, that one seems like it has a lot more to it.
Yeah, it's they sold out pretty quick.
Yeah,
from
it
what I
sounds
remember
really
when I was
cool.
there.
That's one of the ones I want to check out in the future. But so that's the games I've been playing, or at least the ones I wanted to highlight today. Now we're going to get into our news. And I have a couple pieces of news. The first one is I'm super happy that they got caught. So there's a group at Gen Con, or 2 people, who stole $300,000 of MTG cards off a just a normal store. So these game designers that probably weren't doing that well stole all these cards. They've been all retrieved, and legal action will be brought against them. So super happy about that. They're still alleged because they haven't been gone to court yet, but I hope they go to jail for it. But at least the company got their cards back, because $300,000 worth of product is a huge hit for a smaller company.
Yeah.
So happy that that came to a good conclusion. Sad that it actually happened, because this industry is a very small industry, and a lot of stuff's built on trust. And to have someone inside, a group of 2 people inside the industry, to betray that trust is just awful and not good in any way. But yeah, I was super happy about that. My other piece of news is weird, because I'm sort of out of MTG, but MTG Arena will now allow you to earn XP points for MTG Arena at your local game store when you participate in events. So it seems like more like a cash grab, like, hey, put money into MTG Arena, and buy some cards too, because money.
I mean, Pokemon kind of had their own thing with that, where you bought a pack, you'd get a code,
and all the cards would show up in the game. This is a little different. They don't match. So there's no like, hey, I got this card, it's going to show up in MTG Arena. It's just you can gain XP, and the XP I believe you can use to unlock cards in MTG Arena. But I bet you there's going to be a large disparity between what you get at these events and what you equivalently can get on MTG Arena, because it's all about the microtransactions. So I doubt they're going to be able to, like, you can get all the epics with all the XP you got. I'm like, nah, it's going to probably be a couple commons and an uncommon or whatever. Or maybe one rare. But, it was interesting that they're trying to promote, because, I mean, for a while there, it seemed like they were not promoting or helping local game stores really with the MTG play. So it sort of seems like they're getting back into it, which is good, I guess. I'm still not going to be playing it. But so the other part is a CCG game. Like, if I played CCG games, I would probably play, because it looks really cool, and that's Flesh and Blood. The Flesh and Blood CCG is going to work with Tolarian Academy, which is one of the great YouTube channels that I watched all the time when I played Magic. I watched him all the time. He was great. He did all sorts of great stuff. Loved him. And he's going to be working with them to show a Commander-esque style play for Flesh and Blood. So that'll be really cool. So I'm really happy for him. He does a great job. So glad that he's branching out past MTG a little bit.
Yeah, I remember watching a few of his things like way back. But I mean, I've been out of Magic for a while too. So
yeah, I'm happy to be out of Magic. It's too expensive a hobby for me. This hobby is far cheaper no matter what I buy. I would spend thousands of dollars on a single card. Thousands of dollars of board games is a lot.
I don't know. I mean, unless you're getting a Cthulhu baby.
Cthulhu baby, that's still cheaper. The Cthulhu baby's like up to like $300 or $400, so that's still cheaper than a single magic cards for some of my modern decks that I was running. So, but yeah, okay.
I like the art for this Flesh and Blood. It kind of looks like big wall frescoes.
Yeah, and they're I've heard so to be clear, I've never played Flesh and Blood ever, or I've even seen a single card in real life. But from what I understand, they are kinder with their rarity, and they're kinder on how you get your copies of your cards. So they're not like Magic and have like make it super hard to get some of the cards. So you have to keep buying entire booster boxes after entire booster boxes to get what you need. So that's cool. There's one more that I don't know a whole lot of, but basically Descent, Witcher 3, and Arkham Horror devs are creating a co-op legacy game that lets you move freely through a fantasy world as animal adventurers. So it's mainly like these people are going to make a co-op legacy game. So it should be amazing, right? Because Descent's amazing. Witcher 3, the board game, I did not play, so I don't know if it's amazing, but I heard it was. And Arkham Horror is obviously amazing. So these three people, devs, are going to make another game, and the art for it looks pretty cool. It looks like a interesting game. So I'm excited about that and excited what happens. I do like legacy games, especially if you can have people drop in and out. Is good. Like King's Dilemma. Maybe I'll show up for the last game. For the last game and be like, all I just want to do is see Colonel Sanders burn.
Look, you know what? Everybody was just constantly saying that I was not backing up. You know, I would basically pontificate and then just pass for power. And that is a bold-faced lie.
I don't know. I heard a lot of stuff about you. They're talking. They were talking about you. Making plans.
Look, they were just upset because everything, like, you know, Victor Von Doom, everything, you know, despite how it looked, just benefited me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now you got to fight for your right back there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is like I would actually have been ahead of Evan on Prestige before then.
I think I heard this. Yes,
but it's because one or two of the games that I won was made it so if you were in it was because the king abdicated because they ran away, which then makes it so you don't get the good points for being in first. You get crave for being in first.
So you guys still don't know how the game's gonna end scoring, right? So who knows which one of those is going to be good. So you still might be like crushing them, but you just don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm ahead on crave points.
So maybe it'll be only care about crave points. You'll be like, wow, I'm great being selfish. My family rules.
Well, here's a key question though, without any spoilers. How is your kingdom looking? Is it still intact?
He's like, not going to comment.
Uncertain. Oh wait, no.
It has its moments.
Look, all I know is that I got my objective, you know, my story objective completed.
Even if no one's alive in your kingdom, it's done. I like it a lot.
I think you hit it on the head there, James.
All right, so we can get into our main topic. And our main topic is going to be luck in games. Whether you like it or whether you hate it. All right, well, let's see. So let's go ahead and start some examples of no luck. So since John hates luck, what is an example of a no luck game? Other than like the obvious, like Go and chess. We're talking about a modern game.
Man, see, then that comes in. Do we consider randomization luck?
I do.
Because I mean, you know, No luck game. I mean, I'm like, I don't know, for some reason, like first thing that
If
popped
you
into
have
my
to
head.
base if you're trying to base your strategy on something and you're not entirely sure whether things are going to show up, then it's luck.
Yeah. So no luck game, huh? And does the ban also include no Stratego?
Well, Stratego's not a good game. Yeah, modern game. Not kidding. But not a good game. No.
What? Lies.
No, so it has to be a modern game. Like I believe Through the Desert has no luck in it. You're just putting camels down in it. I used to have.
I mean, I don't know, like other people almost kind of do a randomization too
yeah,
on a
we're not
lot
going to
of
go that
games.
far. So it's just going to
Not
be
that far.
It's just going to be no randomization of cards, no rolling dice, sort of thing.
Then I probably would go with like one of the key games.
Like Keeper.
Like Keeper.
Yeah, Keeper. Well, I mean,
like there's no bag
you have that
randomization.
origami thing that you set up, but once it's set up,
But
it's set up.
yeah, it's like it's set up. It's like a known placement, and you also get to pick too. So I mean, it's not like it's random. There's 4 different configurations for each season, and you pick which configuration you're going with.
Correct.
So,
yes.
So, and you're also picking which board that you're taking to do that with. So you're in a lot of control, or you let other people pick before you, and that was what you chose to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's not a lot of luck there because, I mean, you got your meeples and you're picking which colors you're playing if you're going to follow actions with everybody. So yeah, I'd go with probably Keeper.
Yeah, I can't remember if anything ever gets flipped. I don't think so.
Not that I remember. I mean, I think you might get a random for your initial fares that you do, but they're all very basic and they're all almost the same thing. And it's very easy to pick which, it's like, oh, okay, for the first one, you just need to have, 1 brown cube and a cow. Yeah. I mean, that's probably something you would have done anyway. So, I mean, and you could technically don't have to do it. So, but it's just kind of, you're leaving points on the table if you don't. But I mean, you could focus on other things.
Yeah, games like Spirium based on player count has no luck in it. You already know it's all out there. You know it's going to come out. You just got to place your meeples and stuff. Furnace? I think
there's randomization with the deck. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think randomization.
Well, the only randomization that you might be able to concern yourself with is where it gets placed in the grid that you create for Spirium, because that does matter a little bit. Because if you get near because there's places where you're just guaranteed to get something, you're not actually buying it. So if that's right next to a good place, you will probably capitalize on that to make it hard for other people. So there's a little bit. So it's not complete no luck now, I guess, because that array does matter. Same with Furnace. It does matter because you resolve things from left to right, top to bottom. So it does matter what order things come out in for some strategies and stuff. So what about you, Evan? Go ahead.
I think Furnace, I mean, there is some luck to it, but everybody is affected this equally with each card draw. So it's not individual luck, it's collective luck.
Well, I could see his argument where if I need coal and it's down towards the bottom, there's some luck to that because, and it's on a good card and someone else wants it, but I don't want it, that sort of things. So Nathan, what is your example? Because we'll jump to Evan since you were talking after that. What is your example of a no luck game?
It's counterintuitive, but Downforce, because Downforce, you do have cards and you are drawing those cards, but all the cards are drawn at the very beginning of the game. So once we've got your initial hand of cards, have all the information of what you could play, and all the cards are in the game, so you know what's out there. You just don't know who has what.
Yeah, and you can kind of base strategy around it. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
there's luck at bidding too in the beginning when you get your cards and stuff, because you can luck out because people will get the ones with the different player powers first, and you don't know which one's flipping next and what power goes with it.
I mean, that's all part of setup, so it's
still luck in the game because it's still like you don't know what combos you're going to get. So are you going to bid high on this one because you like that combo, or are you going, or so.
That might be
yeah.
a low luck game.
Yeah, I'm
like
not
I-
going to
it's
give
not-
it no luck.
It's
I'll
not
give it.
completely devoid of luck, but it's very low luck.
All right, so let's see if Evan can do better. Evan, do you have a no luck game that's not old?
So no luck is
Keeper?
hard because it depends on really where you kind of draw the line of adding luck into the game or not. And the two things I thought of in this, one would be certain kind of party games. Even though that you might have a random prompt or something goes there, it really isn't so much luck after that point. It's just kind of what you can play,
Sure.
and that's kind of,
If you
but not
consider
really.
those even games. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The other one that I thought that might have been a little bit stronger on that
Okay.
would be some of the hidden role kind of games, such as something like Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. So there's some randomization on your role, but you can't really strategize on what it is until you get that. And then you have to formalize after that. And then everything else that comes out, really, I don't really find that so much as luck.
Well, you have randomization
luck.
on the tiles that you come out, and you can have bad luck on the tile that pops out if
Yeah.
you are,
Yeah. The
Yeah,
other
if
one
you
that-
don't get one that gives you any kind of good descriptor that you can use to change the flow of what everybody's like debating, I'd say that's huge amount of luck. I would say that's definitely a mid luck game because like there's certain tiles you can get that depending upon what cards are out there that could just be completely useless to you.
and you can mitigate the luck a little bit, which I do give that part where you can go.
the other one that I kind
Yeah.
of thought of was Coup, because
Wow, coup is all
You-
luck, unless you don't look at your cards like I don't.
well, I kind of put it as not so much because
Coup just doesn't need to exist. But
you can be anything, so it doesn't really matter so much.
So here's the thing with coup, though. There's a limited amount of each roll. So the luck and the cards that you get does matter because as the game goes by, mathematically people can deduce what your chances of actually having that card are. And without
I
luck,
guess, yeah, if you
bluffing
look at it
games
that
don't
way.
work. So yeah, without the luck part, you can't do a bluffing game.
Yeah,
There's-
I feel like Keeper was my good one, but I was just thinking about it's like Scotland Yard. That's a hidden roll one movement. There's like no luck involved there because basically it's a give and take of what things that you have available to you as Mr. X is not luck based. It is what they are willing
Yeah,
to
same with
give
Whitechapel.
you.
I can't think of anything in either of those that have any luck in it.
Well, there is. I mean, anything can be argued to have a certain amount of luck, and that luck comes from the players rather than the game in those kind of games. So it's like,
Well,
if
no,
you
we're
don't,
just talking straight up the game for now.
so yeah, there's really no luck in the game itself, but the luck can come out of the way the
Sure.
players behave.
One of mine.
Although that's just more of I would consider that fortuitous or strategy.
All right, big word guy today.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm taking a starting.
All right, we're gonna do the word of the day,
I got-
and every
I
time
got-
you do it, we're gonna go. Ah!
I got it. It's one that we actually just talked about a little bit ago. The King's Dilemma. There is zero luck in that game
What?
because the starting on the first beginning part of the game, the starting deck is preset,
Okay.
and then everything else beyond that point is group decision, whether it goes yay or nay, and you build based off of that. There's no randomization in that game at all after that point.
Well, I got an easy one for me. Onitama. Onitama is zero luck. It's basically a small version of chess.
Well,
Well, you
but
can make
you're
the
pulling
same.
random cards. What your moves are.
no, it's not random. You start with 3 cards. They are random, but everyone knows what the 3 cards are. They're not hidden.
Well,
in
that's the
any way.
same argument you made against Downforce. There's randomness.
No,
in the setup.
Downforce is hidden. Onitama is not. So the cards that you have
That's
are
true.
hidden in Downforce, and Onitama they are definitely not hidden.
Well, whether they're hidden or not, that's not luck.
No, right. It's not. Luck is hidden because you don't know. Onitama, you 100% know. The game, all the aspects of the game are 100% known and open at the beginning. And Downforce, they are not. You don't
Well,
know
whether
what
even
cards
if they're
I have.
hidden, everything is known. You don't know. You know
No.
all the cards in the game, or you could potentially know.
You
all
can't
the
know
cards
all
in-
the cards in the game. There's like 6 tracks or whatever, 6 different vehicles, and all have different numbers. There's no way you've memorized every
Well-
single one of those cards. And even if you
Well-
did, you don't know which player has them.
But that's not luck. I mean, the fact
Also, you lost on the bidding part. That's luck.
The bidding part is less luck. I feel like that's not that much luck in
The
the bidding part
combos are
because
luck because you don't know
The
what
combos are luck,
yeah.
but I mean, you could still be, you can make the conscious decision that, hey, it's more important for me to bid and get a good combination, or I could just, sit back and take the cheap car at the
Sure,
end.
I'm not saying there's not a lot of strategy that doesn't involve luck. I'm just saying it's not a no luck game. A
Well,
no luck
I'd say
game
there's a
for-
lot of mitigation.
no-luck
I'd
game
say it's a very low luck game.
Sure,
It's like almost
but a no luck
nil.
game, everything has to be known. Everything.
Well,
Nothing can be hidden in a no luck game.
that's
Nothing.
not true.
Nothing can be hidden. In
Onitama.
Onitama, nothing's hidden. You don't hide your movement.
No, I'm saying if you were to play Onitama and then once you found out what all the actions were, you hid them. That wouldn't mean there's any luck involved.
You can't hide them.
Well, I'm just saying if that was the mechanic of the game where that information was hidden, that wouldn't make it luck.
Yes,
I mean,
luck is not knowing. Luck is you. If you have hidden information, there's luck involved. Because if you have bluffing.
No,
there's
that's
luck.
not true because then Scotland Yard, because there's partial hidden information, but like the whole point of the
What's
game
the
is to
partial
find
hidden
them.
Information.
Well, you don't know exactly where they are. You just know, hey, I took a taxi.
That's true.
But I mean, you also know where they started. So then you kind of know where they could have gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not luck. That's just hidden information.
Well, how about this for hidden information that has no luck? Something like an unlocked game where a lot of the cards are hidden from you, but
So
it's not really luck.
Here's
You're
the
just going
example.
through
Do
the
you
story.
think? Do you think poker has luck in it?
Very little.
So if it has any, then also Downforce has luck.
No, because you're drawing cards. It's
The same
random.
amount, the same
the
amount
random-
of cards that are available, no replacement.
There's definitely
go
there's
through every
definitely
card in
some
the
luck
game.
though.
each game, though. You only go through a couple of the cards, so it's random which ones come
You know
out.
what? Also, BGG says you're wrong.
Well,
Downforce
just so
is
you know,
a game
folks.
that has a luck as a mechanic.
So just so
Poker's
you know, folks,
heavy
we're
luck.
changing the title of this channel, this episode to "Is Downforce a Luck-Based Game?"
And it
or not?
is, but not heavy. So we're not saying like it's like
I say there's a
Monopoly
little bit of luck.
level, but you know,
My argument is after setup, there is no longer any luck.
no, you don't know what cards people have. It's luck at that point. You have zero idea of what cards you do. All you know is they don't have your cards. But there's like,
But you
up
know
to
what cards are out
5
there.
Other players
Yeah,
that can
but
have
that doesn't
different
mean
cards.
that you know that they're going to be
Right.
seen.
And you don't know
And
when
it
they're going
is-
to play them. You don't know if they
Yeah.
have them. You don't know if they're betting on their own car or a different card because you don't know the cards in their hand. If you knew, if there was no
there is
luck in
luck.
that game, if there was no luck in the game wouldn't work.
It's low
Well,
luck.
not knowing-
That's a
not-
lot of
and luck is
mitigated.
Not the same thing. But
It
okay,
has luck
whatever.
in it. It can't
Move
work
on.
without luck.
So
There's a-
mid-level
just-
mid-level luck games.
So
No,
mid-level
no,
to
we were
low.
doing no luck. We haven't gotten below
Downforce.
yet.
Yeah, well, okay, so low luck, I think we went over what's low luck. It's anything that has almost no luck, but it isn't no luck.
well, yeah, which is
Uh,
there is no such thing as completely no luck. But
oh, sure,
low
there
luck
is.
you can have.
There's hundreds of thousands of example of no luck games. Hundreds of thousands. When
It's,
anything is completely unknown, like every game of chess ever or every game of Go, there's no luck in either of those.
you can argue there's because human interaction.
They
but
aren't part
that-
of the
we don't want to
game.
get too far into that.
All right, so mid luck. What's a good mid luck example?
Probably like Great Western Trail, I'd say is mid luck. Because I mean, it's basically the luck part of it is what you draw from your deck, but you control what's in it. And you also control which actions you take.
Yeah.
And the other part of the luck is like what just happens to be available in the market and what pops up in the bag. So I mean, there's luck, but it's kind of more of just randomizing what's out there,
yeah.
and then you have to adjust to it. So it's not low, but I feel like that might be like a good mid-level.
Yeah, mid-level. I mean, the big luck in it is basically what sets the other opponents have. You have no idea until they
Yeah.
do use them. So Yeah, so you don't know if you're pushing ahead incorrectly or whatnot. But yeah, mid luck, that's a good one. I'll jump to the more controversial crowd in a second. But my mid luck is going to be Spirium or Furnace because they're just easy lob.
I figured they're low level.
Yeah, but or Raiders of the North Sea. Raiders of the North Sea. The only luck you have in that game really is the cards you draw, and if you end up rolling dice to attack places, but you don't need to. You could build up your power beforehand.
Now, would this count as low or mid luck? Would be like, let's say, Quacks of Qualenberg.
That's super high luck.
That's high.
I don't know, but you think is you put everything in there, you know the percentages, so it's like
it's still
a
huge amount of luck of what you draw. You have zero control of your life in that game. You can buy
you have a lot.
You can buy new chits, but you have zero control of what you pull out unless you're cheating.
Because no matter how you cut it, luck is just running a probability against something.
Yeah.
So granted, you're manipulating your probability, but still,
if you're in control, yeah. But I mean, is it high luck or is it mid level? Because I mean,
it's
exactly
mid.
How much. I don't know.
You're still betting on what the chances are of you pulling these things, and you have no way to.
No, to me, like high level luck is you have like zero idea what even your probabilities are.
So the highest. Let's start with the highest luck. So highest luck is Candyland, or Shoots and Ladder,
or Sorry. You have no control.
You just go around. Well, those are games that are the super highest luck. So the super highest luck is Sorry, Shoots and Ladders. You're not actually playing a game. It's just doing itself. Highest level of no luck is Chess, Go, those things. So that's our range. So do you have no control of what you're doing at all? Or do you have complete control because you have all the information and nothing hidden? Are the two far ends of the spectrum. Now, what's in the middle?
I think with Quacks, you have some control over. It's kind of the opposite of Downforce. You have some control over the setup in the intermittent periods, but during the actual drawing, that part is the high luck part.
Right. His argument is that you can stack it a little bit, but the point is you still might draw all the poppers in a row.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
But I mean, thing is, Joe, you at least know it's like, okay, hey, you know what? I've drawn, 4 out of the 7. There's 3 chits in there that, one of them is going to bust me. And, and I know like the other 6 in there won't. So, I mean, at least probability
whether you're going to actually draw what you want or not.
But that's it. When you reach into that bag, do you know what you're going to pull?
You won't.
True.
I'm not saying it's like
I can see where you guys
Shoots
are coming
and Ladder
from.
level, but it's.
But I mean, to me, like, if you can at least calculate out your odds, which is why I don't pick poker as a high level.
Poker is definitely
luck game.
Considered high level luck. Poker, I mitigate luck by watching other players is the only way you can mitigate luck.
No,
you have no control
know
of what
the odds of, but you also know what the odds are of what somebody else could beat your hand with. Like you can make good estimations.
Sure,
and you can also make bets, but you can also make bets also to kind of control the flow and to try and communicate information. I mean, there's posturing.
So that's
you
getting
can make
into
it so it's like
the people, not the game. So you can mitigate luck in poker by trying to see if people have tells, but the game itself is luck in everything you get.
Not even going with tells. Like you can make it so you can make things like to be a cost risk analysis to people as well. But like, okay, you know what? I might, there's a few different hands, the odds of them having this is roughly this. And they raised it, by this amount. Is it worth it for me to gamble that that I still have a winning hand with the information of what people have done? Or, I mean, there's a lot of things that, that you can do especially to anybody else who plays a
So
lot of poker.
Here's my end thing for it.
And that is not like going for tells or anything else. That is just purely off of looking at the pot and what your hand is and what other hands could be out there that could beat you.
So if it was a low luck game, then the world champion would be the same person pretty much
I would say
every
mid
year.
luck. I'm not saying it's low luck.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying
Yeah,
mid-luck.
I'll go with if you add in people, it's mid luck. And you could prove this too because the fact that AI, although they will do the probability of whether they can win or not more effectively than a human, they still get beaten. They know percentage wise whether they're going to win or not.
Mhm.
Problem is they'll fold or play based on they have to win.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty decent higher mid to high level luck game that I know
We're gonna
we've
get
all
a lot
played.
of comments on this.
Probably. And that's going to be Hero Quest. You
What?
roll to move.
Okay, you're doing high luck.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're
All
doing mid luck, I'm like,
No. Upper mid to high. You roll to move. All combat is dice rolled. Even getting treasure is based off of a random pull of a card. The only thing that's really static is the adventure base that you're playing on, but almost everything else that's figured out into that game is all dice rolling and random.
yeah, Descent Journey in the Dark or Imperial Assault or Descent Second Edition, I think got to the mid level of that where they did a lot of mitigation on that, and they're not roll and move. Like roll and move just automatically makes it super random. Like be the dwarf, roll one die. Okay, well either gonna move one space or 6. If Peter's playing, you're gonna move one space forever.
That's also me.
That's also you. And not that Hero Quest is a fun game. I like playing Hero Quest. But yeah, you got to know that going in. So that's a good example, Evan. Do you have a mid one?
Probably a lot of the heavier Euros that add a little bit of dice rolling into it.
Yeah, or even those might even be low.
Something like Grand Austrian Hotel that has a little bit of dice rolling into it, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I would go that route.
Or
something
Agricola
that would
without
be
the cards.
Mhm.
Low.
Stone Age. Just there's
Stone
a
Age.
little bit.
You got to roll for your resources in Stone Age.
Oh yeah, no, you do have to.
Yeah, that was high luck.
That's
Like,
that's higher luck.
You can mitigate towards the end of the game. You can get pretty good where you're going to be guaranteed to get stuff, but it takes a bit.
Yeah, and even then, like you sometimes have to overcommit. Like,
Yeah. A lot of times, like I need the gold. All my people are going there, and I'm going to use all of my axes. And we're going to
I forgot about the rolling for the.
I love Stone Age. We can get into actually games that have luck that we like in a minute here, but I'm gonna let Nathan talk. No, never mind. Okay, let's move forward. Okay.
I think a good example of a mid luck game would be Azul, because there's some luck in the initial draw and what tiles come out and which section of the thing that comes out on. But once they're out, you can pay attention to what other people need, and you can plan several turns in advance based on what you think people are going to take and what you need.
Yeah, I go with that one. I haven't surprised. What's your high luck game? Because I'll be surprised if you don't say it, and I'll poo-poo you.
Well, I would go with probably No Thanks.
Sure, yeah, no thanks. That's a good one. I thought you were going to say Cosmic Encounter, because I would have. I would like Cosmic Encounter. I figured that was.
No, I was thinking either Raw or No Thanks would be good examples. Although
sure.
Raw might be more towards the mid.
Raw is definitely mid to mid. It's definitely mid.
Mid, yeah.
I don't think it's
well
high.
Using your Azul. A high luck would be Sagrada would be kind of the opposite, since there's dice rolling every single round and you have to kind of pay attention to what you need, but you have very limited.
The pool though.
But you're rolling it every round, so it's completely random.
Well, not only that is you can use some of those powers and re-roll a die.
But it's random what powers you have every game. So
yeah, and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, that one's good.
All right. There's one I've been thinking about, and I think it might be a good mid one. Pompeii.
Yeah, Pompeii, you're pulling the tiles out of the bag.
You're pulling dials and also the deck, and whether or not when the volcano eruption happens is
Yeah.
random in there.
Pompeii's an amazing
But
game, by the way.
yeah, but I mean, thing is that you also can make a lot of decisions to mitigate your risk for the lava as well.
To
But
a
I mean, you
point,
can
but
still
yeah.
get by luck. So I mean, that's what I'm kind of thinking. That might be a good mid because
Yeah.
you can do a lot to mitigate, but not
Even if you mitigate it, if
completely.
you have really mean opponents, they could block
Yeah.
you out of escaping. It's a really cool game. It's really fun throwing people's meeples into the volcano.
I would say, yeah, that would be that would be in the mid, but on the lower end of mid, I think, because there is a lot, as you were saying, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of strategy that you can employ to say, okay, this is my highest risk area. I need to get these guys clear first.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then it's like, hey, you know what? If I go and at least have my guys here, these two players at least are not going to go and throw lava on me. So I only need to worry about this player, you know.
Now, I don't know that this
Yeah.
is a... Go ahead.
Yeah, the other big thing in that game you can do is, oh, there's a lot of other players here. This is relatively safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say, like, hey, I know that guy wants to keep his guys alive.
Yep.
And sometimes it's fun being like,
Just
never mind. But yeah, so that gets into, because there is a little bit of push your luck in that game. Basically, how you place your things, like how much risk you want to put in each place. But it's not really a great example for a push your luck style game completely,
No.
I think. So we'll go reverse this time. Nathan, what do you think you already said no thanks, so it has to be a different one, I guess, of a good push your luck game.
Well,
It's behind you
odd
anyway.
one is the one we played
Yeah.
recently. Because it is a push, which is a broom service.
Yes.
It's a push your luck with deduction, essentially, because you're playing a role, whether you play, if you try to play the role brave, you might not get the action if somebody else down the line chooses brave. If you choose cowardly, you get the action, but you get a lesser action. So you can push your luck by doing brave, but you're gambling based on whether you think other people will take that action. Because basically you choose at the beginning of the round, out of 10 actions, you choose 4. So not everybody's going to choose all the same actions necessarily, but you can also pay attention to what they want to do to know what is the chance of them taking that action. Unless, like in our game, we have people that didn't know what they were doing yet, we're just doing random stuff.
I think someone's a little sully. But no, I think that's a good push your luck. And you can use a lot of deduction in the game based on there's only 10 roles available and what you think other players may be trying to do because based on what they have, where they are, stuff. But yeah. All right. How about you, Evan? Other than Yahtzee, what's a good push your luck game?
So one that I really like is Wonderland's War.
Yes.
So bag building, it's got a really cool like area control going along with it that builds really into the bag building. And I really like the beginning part of the game where you use the tea party to build your bag through things.
Yeah.
Especially for the fact that you can keep going around and around and around that.
Yeah, pushing your luck, getting
pushing
more
your
of
luck.
bad stuff. Yeah.
To potentially get like higher power cards that may have came out after you pass it, since you can't go backwards unless your abilities and that
just go backwards all the time.
Mm-hmm. So I really like that one. I just can't imagine any really bag builder being a lower luck kind of game. It just in its nature is going to be a higher luck game, and that's one that I really enjoyed.
All right, John.
I don't know. I still consider those mid, even if it is push your luck. I still
Fighting
consider it
words!
mid.
We got some fights happening. All right, what's your push your luck game, John?
Man, I don't know. That's one thing I've been like wondering about is like, I mean, I was trying to think of something other than quacks, but I mean, I feel like that's
it's
kind
a
of
good
like
example of one. But
I don't know if it's like, I mean, it's probably one of the better ones that I like, just because like kind of the variations with it, and
It's one that people know.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have them as the main components to push your luck. And it, like they said, broom service. There's some other games like King of Tokyo has a push your luck thing. And
Yeah, but I don't like King of Tokyo.
Oh well,
though.
you know, you
that'd be the problem there.
Yeah, that'd be the problem there. There's another game I was trying to think of. You can keep going, and then you just oh crap! It's the card game where you build on the cards, like you put them in the clear, transparent sleeves.
Oh yeah, I do. I know
you
what
do
you're talking
bust in
about.
that, so there is
Yeah.
a push your luck in that because you don't want. I think they're called corruption. You don't want to have X amount of corruption happen.
But you can put things in it to kind of like mitigate it, and also like
yeah. But you're drawing cards, and you're like, because there's a lot of them. You can't draw forever.
What is that game called?
It's a forest druid theme thing.
Mystic Vale.
Mystic Vale.
Mystic
yes.
Vale.
Mystic Vale is a 100% push your luck game.
Yeah, I like Mystic Vale. There we go. There's one that was
I got it for you.
There we go.
We got there.
I was
I want to mention another one by Oink Games, which is Deep Sea Adventures.
Yep, that's good.
And if you watch my playthrough, you got proof, because the whole point of this is you are rolling dice to go deeper and deeper, and as you pick things up, the more things you pick up, the slower you end up moving, and then you have to decide, oh, when do I start going back? If you wait too late, you're not going to have an oxygen to get back to the sub before you, and you're not going to get the treasures, so you don't get any points. My luck in my playthrough was horrible, and I also pushed my luck with a new tech setup that also went badly.
Yeah, if you want to see what happened there, we have the video up with that one. But yeah, the Oink games are a lot of fun. They're just like little tiny games. And that gets into a segue of the button shy games. A lot of the button shy games, they're only 18 cards. Oink games are they're the tiny boxes of cards or pieces. But there a lot of the button shy games have a push your luck element into it, and this is one of them called Press Tour. In Press Tour, you're either going to be the author or celebrity that the other people are interviewing, and the interviewers get to ask questions, but they roll a die and they put that number in. There's some stuff to mitigate it, but if you want to ask a follow-up question, you're going to be rolling the same amount of dice, and you have to get a higher number or you bust. But if you wait until the next round, you get another die. So you're more likely to get a higher number than your previous. So there's a push your luck on how, and the more that you do it, the more points you can get, because you're trying to get them to say key words. So yeah, a lot of the button shies have a push your luck in it, especially the solo ones. So I like those a lot. And I do like a lot of roll and writes, and a lot of roll and writes end up having a push your luck element in them too. But yeah, so that's push your luck. This one should be super easy. There's so many games from it, and I have a really good one that I'll do for last, but that's dice placement, and we'll start with John.
Oh, you'd have to start with me.
Yes, I do. Oh, you want me to skip you for a little bit? Let you think for a second, because I got a good one.
Yeah, is it a moon-themed one?
No, it's not. The one I was going to say, I'll just say, is Euphoria. Euphoria is a dystopia-style universe there made by Stonemaier Games. In Euphoria, your workers are dice, and you're going to be rolling these dice, and the value that they rolled will depend on where you can get them and how good you do things. But if you roll too high of a number, your workers have become enlightened, and they realize that their life sucks, and they leave. So there's a little push your luck in it, and there is dice placement in it. But there's a ton of dice placement games. I love dice placement, so I'm going to let other people say ones, but that's one of my favorite is Euphoria. And if you like dice placement, I highly recommend checking that one out.
You're such a thief.
Oh, you're going to say Euphoria? It's such a good game.
You had so many to talk that you say you have so many to talk about, but you stole the one I wanted to talk about.
Well, I mean, okay, I could name a bunch off, but I'm going to let you guys go. So,
I'll go.
Okay.
So one of that's a very popular one here at this house is Cavern Tavern. So it is. So you play as a tavern worker. You have to go get drink orders from the patrons that come in, and then you have your actions based off of your die roll. So depending on what you roll, you can pick up certain ingredients for your your orders, but you also can mitigate that because on the one section is lower numbers, but if you combine die to get the higher numbers, you can also get ingredients the other way, going that way. And there's other things that can go, but I mean that's the key portion of the game is what you roll is what you do.
Yeah. John and Nathan have one yet? Another one of mine is Twa, the dice game. And that when you roll and you place them out there. Sagrada was one that Evan named off. So that one's like easy one. There. Still no for you guys?
I'm just trying to think of one. Like most of the ones that I think of, it's like not dice placement. It's like cards instead. It's like keeps coming to mind.
Oh,
that's my problem.
Yeah. The other one I'm trying to remember is going to be you play on this circular map, and you use your dice. They made a llama game after it too. But you draw from the bag and then you roll the dice. What the heck is that?
It's not Altiplano, is it?
Am I thinking that's not dice placement? It's been a while.
One that I was thinking of, and it's for the most part something even like Champions of Midgard, where you're getting your warriors as actual.
Oh, that's
dice.
a great one, Champions of Midgard, and also its sequel,
Reavers
of Midgard, also is a good example of dice placement in there too.
Well, I didn't want to mention it because it's like the obvious one that I'm surprised nobody mentioned is Castles of Burgundy. I mean,
yeah. You're just taking dice. You're not placing them, right?
You roll them, but you are kind of more of like you're taking actions based on what dice you rolled, and then you can modify them plus or minus.
I'll give it like
citizens.
a 75%.
Yeah, it's kind of ish.
Well, Nathan said it, so we have to debate it for 15 minutes here.
Yeah, no, Nathan said it. So Nathan is wrong. You are technically not placing the dice. You're just using them to get different boxes of stuff. So
you're not placing. You're setting the dice.
You're not setting them either. You're just using them. Actually, you're just using the dice to get a location on the board,
which is the same as Euphoria, more or less.
No, Euphoria, you literally have to place it on the board. You're not placing the die on. Yeah, it's worker placement with dice, but not in Castles of Burgundy. Castle of Burgundy, you're claiming a spot.
You're claiming an action spot.
Yeah, you
are. But you're not preventing anyone else from doing it. You're basically like it's like there's on the threes. There's 4 different tiles.
Taking the stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, you're taking the stuff, but you're just like it's like okay, I'm gonna use my 3 to take the tile from the 3 column, and I'm gonna use my 5 to take the one from the 4 because I paid a citizen to modify it, or I place on. Yeah, you don't actually place anywhere. You basically you use them, and like on your board, there's like all the different numbers. Like okay, I want to place this mine, and my mine has a 2, and I have a 3. Yeah.
Okay, but the other one that I'm surprised James didn't mention is Alien Frontiers.
Yeah, Alien Frontiers, you definitely claim your areas. That is actually the cleanest dice placement game there is. It's super easy to teach. There's not a lot of places to go, and it's super straightforward. So I like it for that one a lot. Bora Bora is another example of one that's in there.
Lords of Vegas, would that count?
Lords of Vegas, you're placing them in the casinos. And
but I mean...
So I'm pretty sure, sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, because I mean, you can modify the dice once they're placed, but they come out with a specific number. So it kind of...
Troyes, I had to look it up. Troyes is the game that I was thinking about.
Oh, Troyes.
Yeah, also another heavy Euro is Teotihuacan. Is another dice placement game. But
what was that called again?
You know what it's called. Also,
yes, we do. We want to hear you say it.
Just so you know, is Castle of Burgundy is considered to have dice placement as a mechanic. But we all know BGG Nathan was right. And Nathan are frequently wrong.
Yeah, I forgot you didn't actually place it on the board. It's been a while since I played.
Isn't Marco Polo a dice placement game?
It is, yes. Marco Polo is.
Okay.
But I'm kind of I have feelings on Marco Polo.
It doesn't matter if you have feelings on it. It's a dice
I thought we were
placement
talking
game.
about good ones,
Oh, there's another one that was it wasn't Llamas. It started with L. Lorenzo Il Magnifico. I definitely want to play that game, and I've never played it. And that's also supposedly dice placement.
Yeah, it's over there somewhere.
So yeah, they wait till I go to Nathan's house to play it. So I think we exhaustively did dice placement.
Can't believe I forgot this.
Okay.
For Push Your Luck, a great example of Push Your Luck is Clank. And it's kind of the same thing as Deep Sea Adventure.
I will say you were wrong unless you consider Clank in space, because your chances of dying in Clank are almost none, even if you go to the bottom. But in Clank in space, you will totally die when you push your luck too far.
Yeah, I mean, your chances of dying aren't that high, but your chances of not getting out are pretty high.
Well, in Clank, James, it doesn't matter that much as long as you get above that level, which you can always do.
James, you didn't say Clank in space correctly.
Clank in space! That game, you can push your luck and go down. So we'll just do this one real quick. What do you think is the best game that has luck in it, but it has the best forms of mitigation of that said luck?
So I think this is a topic that John should start with, because he is naturally the most unlucky.
Oh, he had strong opinions on this too, so let's go ahead.
He is the unluckiest die roller I have ever seen in life. Yeah. Like, hands down.
They are all terrible. If it has luck in it, it's crap. No, luck is anything beyond just randomization of events and just kind of changing what's available for like resources and everything else. Do not like. If anything above low, I'm already negative on it. You have to be really, really fun in order for me to want to play it.
Did you like Castles in Burgundy? That has luck mitigation in it.
Yeah, a little bit. It has enough to where if somebody else wants to play it, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to bring it to the table. Difference. Yeah, the workers definitely help a lot. I prefer the card game of Castle Burgundy as opposed to the dice game.
And that game,
I feel like there's a lot less
super dirt cheap, the card game.
Yeah. And I feel like it is a lot less reliant and heavy on the luck.
You still flip cards for your dice.
Still flip cards, but I don't know. It just flows a lot better to me. I enjoy it a lot more. Like if I had my choice, I would pick the card game all the time. And I might actually want to get the card game to play with people, while just regular Castles of Burgundy, I'd be like, if somebody wants to play it, sure. Is my feelings on that one.
Well, do you have one that you like the mitigation in specifically? I mean, you had strong feelings of Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yeah, I don't know. For that one there, if you at least I know going into it what my odds are, like I was in full control of that bag and what's in it. I mean, I can at least make the intelligent decision of, okay, I've got, a 20% chance of busting, on this draw. I'll go and push my luck. So, I mean, if I can at least figure out what my odds are, I'm okay with it too. I mean, and that's also why I don't like, let's say, like Legendary, as far as like deck builders go, because it's just completely random what the market is. Even though I'm terrible at it, I'd much rather play Dominion.
So you're not really Dominion. Well, Dominion, you know the market for, but yeah. So you wouldn't be into Ascension or any of the type of or Star Realms or Hero Realms.
Star Realms is okay. I would play. I've played Hero Realms or Star Realms, and I'm okay with that one.
Well, Star Realms is worse than that.
It was, I don't know, maybe it was the space theme that did it for me.
Yeah, that might be, because the theme does matter. So the theme does matter.
Theme does matter.
There's a lot larger deck and a lot more randomness in the market for Star Realms.
Yeah. But I mean, that also might be, I've only played it once in a long time ago. So I might have a better memory of it for that too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or that I just got really lucky.
It's generally a shorter game too. So that does make a difference also.
And you mentioned deck building, which I think really we should talk about, because I mean, deck building is pure mitigation. You're adding better cards. You're burning garbage. I mean, doing Imperium is a good example.
Yep.
You're thinking about not only the value of the cards, but also what areas it allows you to go into.
Unless you burn all the cards that let you go where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually going to be the example that I was going to use was actually going to be Moonrakers, just because you have some luck based off what you're drawing,
Moonrakers, that's a
but
good
you're going to
pick.
mitigate a lot of that based off of how you burn stuff out of that.
Or
'Cause
purchase, yeah.
You completely have to build that engine, that deck for endgame, because nobody's going to help you win the game. So you have to do it all yourself. So you have to spend everything carefully to do that. So I think it's a good way to mitigate a lot of the luck that you have to rely on early.
And that's an interesting example, because the luck mitigation changes halfway through the game. So, because early game, you are using people as your luck mitigation, whereas later game, you are using your deck that you built as the luck mitigation.
Yeah. So I'm going to go the high road, just to cause controversy here and get you guys all riled up. And
Boo! Boo!
and-
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
too early.
unless you're saying like deck builders are the worst game type ever and the worst mitigation type.
I would say one of the
really
best mitigation types is going to be like Gonshon Clever, which is a straight up rolling game. The choices that you make in the game give you like rerolls, pluses or minuses, and your choices of where you fill out depend on how much luck you're going to mitigate and how much you're going to push your luck to try to get those higher points. And you have to have like this balance in it. So that's my pick as a good high luck game with good mitigation is Gonshon Clever or Twice as Clever or whatever version you want to talk about. Or That's Pretty Clever, I think, is the English name for Gonshon Clever. But
I don't think I've ever played that one. So
if you like, do you like dice game? You don't like dice games in general. This is
this
is a roll and write, basically 100% roll.
I don't mind roll and writes, because roll and writes are like, everybody's has the same dice roll. So
not this one.
roll. Okay.
So in Gonshon Clever, you're going to be rolling 5 dice. You're
Mhm.
going to pick up to 3 that you're going to place out, and whatever you didn't pick or couldn't place, because if you pick a number, anything lower goes into the platter. Then all the other players get to play one of those, and they can play the same one as a communal, and then you take turns. So there's up to 3 dice that you won't see on other players' turn. Communal, there's a lot of communal roll and writes out there. It sounds like that's more your speed for that one, so everyone has the same dice. The game Rolling Realms is that way. You'd probably like Rolling Realms. It has big chunky dice too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you played that one. Plus, you go through all the Stonemaier games, which is fun. All right, anyone have anything?
I'm trying to remember. Is that the one where there's one of them I know that's like a roll and write where you have each card is an actual board game and you have to fill out that card.
That's Rolling Realms.
That's what I thought it was.
Each one's a board game, and they have their own little theme going. Everyone has the same cards. The cards themselves are dry erase cards, and yeah, those big chunky dice. That's cool. Yeah, it's Rolling Realms. I want to get some of the expansion packs for that. I think some of them are cool. Like he did one for Terra Mystica, which is not a Stonemaier game. But it'd be cool to have some more different ones to go through.
Yeah, I thought there was quite a few of those expansions that were just basically like, hey, do one for our game. Because I thought there was more than there was more other game developers who have cards in Rolling Realms. I'd have to go and take a look at it, because I just have a buddy who has.
Oh, there's a bunch, yeah.
There's
a bunch, and he has like 3 or 4 expansion packs. I can't remember, but yeah, and most of them are his games, but some of them aren't.
Like an interesting example that actually could spin into a slightly different topic is Fire and Axe. It's got an interesting thing. Is like you go out, you start in a harbor, and you can get up resources. How many resources your resources are your crew and goods and stuff, foods and supplies and things like. And you go out, but how much you bring with you is really important, because as you go out, you are trying to raid colonies and settle colonies or trade and using these resources. And the luck is really not that high, except for the longer you stay out, the more your resources dwindle, and bad luck can be pretty significant because other people are watching you, and when they see that you're like running out of resources and you have a good chance of failing, they can actually swoop in and like steal what you're trying to do. So you got to pay attention to that element as well. So it's, your bad luck is somebody else's good luck.
Yeah, it gets into a lot of strategy though too, and watching your opponents. But yeah, okay. So I guess how much? So we'll do how much? Well, I'll do a different one later on because Peter's not here, so I can't pick on it too much. But how much is luck important to you in a game?
Well, we know John's opinion on this already.
Well, let's hear John's opinion because he doesn't. I don't think you play any non-luck games, really.
Yeah, for me, I prefer it for randomization.
Okay.
So that way, you're having to take what happens and then adjusting your strategy with that.
So more like communal.
Like kind of communal, or at least if you have some control of it. So like bag builders, deck builders, like, things where, you at least can, be like, okay, I got this. This was an unlucky hand, but I know what else is in here. Yeah. And I can, plan accordingly and try to make that next turn even better.
All right. Yeah, it's solid. I'm actually pretty much the same way on that too. How about you, Evan?
And
go ahead.
And also, like, I like it. It has like a little something else to it too, like trains,
something.
where you also have more than just the deck building itself. You also have the area control element to it. Yeah, like that, or even like, I mean, it's a lot lighter game, but like the Cowboy Bebop deck
I didn't
builder.
play that one,
yeah, that one's fun. I mean, it's not like super anything, but I mean, it's very thematic, and you're thing is your decisions, like you can do things strategically.
Just on a side topic, did they ever come out with the second season yet of the live action?
No, I don't imagine they are going to.
I like the first season.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of other people did though.
I don't think a lot of other people actually like Cowboy Bebop in general. They just like the idea. I love the cartoon. I watched the whole thing, but I know a lot of people are like Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, did you watch all the original? And they're like, nope. It's like 4 or 5 episodes.
So, yeah. There's some, yeah.
I think most of the people are a quarter of the way in, but I'm all in. And I know they made some changes. I know that the changes that were in the live action, but I just liked it. I just like it was enough. It was enough of it that it was great for me.
I just never got around a chance to watching it. Actually, I just got Netflix re-upped, so I might go and try and watch it here.
Yeah, pretty much immediately see the changes, but a lot of the stuff is like, you get enough of the feels of the cartoon that you're like, I'm good.
Like for me, it's like good. If the music is there, then
it is. It is. It's good.
Then that's the main for me.
Yeah, so I need to play Cowboy the Bebop deck builder apparently because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, Evan.
So, luck for the game, I think if it's there and it fits thematically, then I'm okay with it. That has to be the key part. I'm not luck adverse to games. Coming as a miniature gamer and a war gamer, where a lot of that stuff comes down to probability charts and dice rolls for outcomes. You're just kind of used to it. So I'm not adverse to it, but to have randomness or luck for the sake of just having randomness or luck in the game, not always. It has to thematically fit. Now, and a good example for that to add randomness into a game that really doesn't have randomness and it thematically fit is actually, again, our playthrough of the King's Dilemma. We've added an AI bot that is completely 100% controlled by dice rolling, and it just adds a random factor into the game that actually works really well.
Like when you play chess against the monkey.
Pretty much.
All right, how
So-
about you, Nathan?
I think luck is important in a game to give it replayability, because if there is absolutely no luck, well, first of all, it's essentially a solo game, but if it's not a solo game, if there's absolutely no luck, you know who's going to win every time, because it's going to be the person who's better at the game is going to win 100% of the time, and then people aren't going to want to play anymore. But there's a couple of factors that are really important for how much luck should be in a game. The length is probably one of the biggest one. The longer the game, the less luck you should have. You don't want to be 3 hours the game and roll a die and then suddenly, I just lost.
High luck games should be short.
Or
Yeah.
how about this? How about that the length of the game is random? So you're like,
No.
so I mean, you might have like I'm talking about like games
Not
where
too
you see it,
much.
it's like okay, one of the last 8 cards is going to be the end of the game, and so you don't know, is this the last turn?
Sure.
So then that way it adds a little bit of tension to it, and there's kind of luck. It's like, okay, am I going to be able to get 2 actions in or 1 action in? I'm not sure.
Twilight Imperium's that way, and after the 12th hour, you're like, I need this game to go another hour. You're like,
Again, the length of the game matters for that, because like a short game, yeah, that's great. Arceus Society, that is one of those games where a round can end based on drawing a card and end instantly.
You
But
have
it's
to
a
draw
relatively
3
short
of them?
game, so you have to draw 3 monkeys
Yeah, 3 monkeys.
and around.
I think that game is almost identical to Ethnos. Because in
I don't know, I
Ethnos,
haven't played Ethnos.
They abstracted the area control a different way. So in Ethnos, you have an area, and that's a card in Arcana Society, where you have a track that you move up on. It's the same thing, because it's an area that you put discs on. The higher you stack the discs on it is whether you control that. It's the same control. It just feels different because it's a linear board instead of a...
But the other players matter, right, in Ethnos, right?
Yeah, well, so the other players matter on if someone overtakes you for how far you make it on that. Is that the same way on that?
That is not the case with Arceus Society.
I don't think I won't like it.
There is no real interaction beyond the cards that are available, and your actions
See, there's
affecting
like
the card.
that was the cool part of Ethnos, was the amount of player interaction you had based on where people are putting discs in those different areas. So how far that I could see that where like that just basically removes the player interaction if it doesn't matter where you're on that.
All right, how about this is what I was thinking about that I played not too long ago. Amun-Re.
Amun-Re. Amun-Re. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah,
No, not Raw.
Nope.
Not
Amun-Ra.
Amun-Ra.
Yeah, so like
Actually,
What's that?
yeah, it's Amun-Ra or whatever. Yeah, I think it's actually is it pronounced Ra?
Yeah.
Amun-Ra?
Amun-Ra.
Amun-Ra or Amun-Re?
No, it's not Ray. It drives me nuts when people review Raw and they're like, "Oh, we're playing Ray." I'm like, "No, it's Raw, Egypt,
Nope.
Raw."
Ra.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me.
Ray.
All right, go ahead after this tirade.
But yeah, so I mean, in that one there, the randomization is what territories come up. I mean, if you're playing with 5 players, all of them are coming up, so you can at least kind of bank on that. But the ones that you need, you might, because you also is kind of random on what victory point cards you might have drafted out of the deck, and so what kind of conditions you're trying to match, which is like have all your properties, that you control away from the Nile or near the Nile or on the lower half. So, you kind of at least have to adjust to what's out there. Be like, okay, I'm going to give up on doing this So, so I could take this one for cheaper. Is it worth fighting, and getting into a bid war for this one to try and get these points? So I mean, yeah, there's luck to it, but it's more of communal luck again. And it's kind of everybody has to adjust their strategies, based upon what's coming out.
Yeah. So I do want to do one more question for you guys, and I think this one's the most important one. That Evan had made this list basically that I've been going down and picking and choosing which one to go over and stuff. But so thank you, Evan, for doing that. But I think this one's really good. This one here is luck added correctly can create epic stand-up moments in games. Especially when you get down to the end where you're like, okay, you guys are neck and neck. It all depends on this roll. And everyone's looking around and they really care what happens. And I think that's can be an amazing, epic part of a game. Do any of you have an example of when this has happened in one of the games you've played?
Does poker count?
No, poker's stupid.
Because I mean, mine's pretty good.
Okay, go for it.
Because I mean, I was at a poker tournament, and I was holding on.
Oh, that's
ace.
why you're like, oh, it's not much looking.
Yeah. All right. So I was holding on to my hand, pocket queens.
No idea what that means.
So it's basically there's 3 communal cards, and that you get on the first flop,
like
but
Texas
everybody gets
one?
dealt. Yeah, Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
While we were playing, so I got dealt 2 queens, and I was the first bet after the blind. So I bet heavy. It's like, hey, I got a good hand. I don't want somebody later on winning the hand with some 3-9 offsuit crap. So I bet hard. Everybody, we got a few people that bit, but I didn't bet too hard because I wanted people to actually play and give me money, because I've had nothing but terrible hands the entire time. It was my first good hand. So I had like 5 people in this pot. All right. And the 2 blinds had dropped. So I'm now lead bet when the flop happens. And the flop comes out 6-6-6. All right.
So that gives you the full house, right?
Yeah, that gives me full house. I got queens over 6s. Like the odds of like somebody having pocket kings or pocket aces, probably not that good. I probably have a winning hand here. All right. So I bet hard. Like I have the 4-6, drop, drop, drop. Then the guy raises me. I was like, oh, he must be thinking I'm bluffing. I go all in. He calls me, and I'm like, uh-oh. He reveals his cards. He had an ace and a 6. All right. And we all think it's over at that point. All right. And then they kind of go do it. Card, queen. Queen. I won 4 queens over 4 6s. And I wound up doubling up my money, and I rode that out to like 9th place in the tournament and winning money.
Well, that's cool.
I didn't win a single hand after that. That was my only win the entire time.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and from what I understand, everybody who then participated in those tournaments up there in that area, they were constantly telling stories about it. I actually had somebody telling me that story. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. That was me."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember a really interesting example of luck in a game that shouldn't have a lot of luck. In a game of Everdell, where you have 16 card slots, and I had 1 card slot left, and I could milk that 1 card slot for a long time and double my score, and somebody happened to have one of the very few take that cards of the game and filled my last card slot, so I had to end the game.
Base was priceless the rest of the time. It was so good. It was just worth it just there. He was like, I don't know what happened. I hate you. I hate you so bad. Why didn't you pay attention to me? I'm like, I held on to that card forever. Yeah, that was a good one. I had a lot of playing King of Tokyo with my kids and stuff. of stand-up moments where you're like, I have 1 health left, but if you roll really badly on this last reroll you have, I'm killing you. Yeah, so I like that one a lot. How about you, Evan?
So the most epic luck thing that I experienced, and it wasn't even for me, I was just there when it happened, was watching Mr. John over here taking a handful of D6s to do character generation
Oh.
and then rolling a 5, taking the highest of the die and having a 5.
Out of like 20 D6 or something like that.
That
yeah.
is epically awesome.
That
Yeah.
you can't do much worse than that.
No.
Yeah, that's why I don't really like dice, especially D6s.
No
Here's
luck
the thing
for
is,
John.
D12s though. D12s and me are homies because everybody else hates D12s. That's why they're like, you what? We also hate D6s.
We did skip one thing that I think we should talk about. I know, just luck in story-based games is very different than other games, because in a story-based game, bad luck is not necessarily a bad thing, because you're just changing the story, and it can be bad luck can be really entertaining and tell an amazing story. Sleeping Gods is one of them. It's like, oh yeah, you rolled terribly, so it took you down this entirely different route that you may not have ever seen otherwise. Or a dungeon crawl where one character is getting wailed on by the monsters and everybody's racing to catch and save this one person.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually one of the ones I was thinking about earlier.
Oh.
Was something along those lines. But I was like, it's not really a game though, so I didn't mention it. But Fiasco.
Oh, Fiasco. Okay.
I mean, that's like there's definitely the randomization, like as far as like even defining your relationship between the other characters and you. So I mean, it's not really a game, but I mean, it's kind of a gamified storytelling. That's what I feel like.
It's prompt-based storytelling, right?
Yeah. And instead of
You
like
draw
the prompts
cards
coming, well, no, you don't draw any cards. You just have like a scenario and you roll dice, and then you take those dice and you spin them to define those different like relationships and then how they're affected. Like I wound up, me and somebody I was dating at the time, we wound up being twins. Was our relationship between each other, and the other person to my left was the lawyer who was handling our estate because our parents died. That's how we wound up like kind of crafting the story around these different elements. And we had like a hotel that was, decrepit, and that was like a lot of people were trying to get the money from us because
Okay.
they were building a casino down the road, was how we like wound up kind of like telling the story. And then we had to kind of like, we had one room that was sealed. Why was it sealed? Because, a murder had happened there, involving, our parents or something like, like one of our parents. And I was the evil twin and she was the good twin. And so we wound up, yeah, it was like this whole story wound up happening. And I wound up pulling a whole, like bad child one, like basically getting all the other characters killed and then blaming all the murders on the last player.
That's pretty
So
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's. Do we want to talk about Monopoly, aka Math and Dragons?
Nah. Peter's not here.
Yeah, that's why I
all
brought
luck.
up Fiasco instead.
Yeah. Play anything else. Yeah. Peter's not here to defend himself, so it's not as fun. But yeah. Does anyone have anything else before we go into our cool silly game?
We could talk about Pathfinders instead.
Same problem. All right, so I guess we're going into our silly. Oh my god! Oh, Morkborg, but that's fun, so that's okay. But anyway, so let's go into our silly game. Here we're going to go to the first person who gets 4 points. You should know these. If you don't know them, then we're going to go down to the first person that gets 3 and so on. But we're going to see how this goes, okay? So we're all talking about looking games, so I'm going to pick on old games. So this is your knowledge of old, very old games. All right? We'll go ahead and start with John and see if he can get his point. So John has to answer in Clue, how many weapons are there?
Oh, there's I think one for each room, and so there's room. There's got to be at least. No, there was more weapons than rooms, if I remember right. Is it 8?
Nope. You were wrong. There's 6.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. First was 6. I was like, maybe
had it.
there's more. I couldn't remember. It's like,
Yep.
can you take it? No.
I actually listed them all off in my head, and
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not letting people get pickups on there. So Nathan, name all 4 railroads in Monopoly.
Oh, come on.
No.
R&R, B&O, reading, and
No, you're wrong.
yeah, R&R is the one that's probably wrong.
Well, R&R and reading are not reading railroad. There's no. It's this R&R.
Mm-hmm.
They're not separate.
Yep.
And then you have Pennsylvania Railroad, B&O Railroad, and Short Line.
Short.
Yeah. I did. All right.
I'm glad I didn't know that, really.
Look,
A
I
for
played that
effort,
way
I'll
too
go.
much as a kid. Like, I didn't have any other choices. All right, there's that and Risk.
All right. Here's the one for
Name the
Evan.
railroads of Monopoly.
And there's the one, Evan. Which board game is played on a triangular grid and has the objective of moving all your pieces to the opposite corner?
Chinese checkers.
Yes, the first point. How many of the other one knew that one?
I knew that one. I was like,
Okay.
yep. mhm.
I don't know if I'd call it. It's multiple triangles, but it's really a star. But whatever.
See, the thing I've noticed when we do these kind of games, John gets the hard ones and everyone else gets the easy ones, and he complains the
Okay,
entire time.
here's a good one for John. In Sorry, how many pawns do each player get?
I know it's 1 of 2 numbers. I'm just trying to remember. 4.
Yes. All right, so I have 2 people with a point. Nathan's the only one missing a point. In the game of Uno, how many cards are dealt out to each player?
Come on.
12?
No.
I don't know.
12. It's a kid's game. Yes, it's 7.
You've
That's,
given Nathan the not game games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a good one for Evan here. How many wooden blocks are in Jenga?
36.
No. 54.
I actually knew that one.
You actually knew that one.
All right, that one I didn't know.
All right.
But if I have a set that has 36 in it,
That means you're just missing pieces.
So this
mini Jenga only has 36 pieces in it. Thank you very much.
what is the ancient Egyptian board game? This is for John. That is considered the oldest known board game, which is actually not true anymore, but we'll go with it.
I've heard of it, but I have no idea.
I know Nathan knows. Okay, it's Senate. I know Nathan knows. I purposely did not let him do it.
Bought
All
a
right.
copy of this on Kickstarter, never got it.
So we still have 2 people with 1 point. Nathan, in the game of Pictionary, how many categories of clues are there?
5?
Yeah. Yes, there are 5 categories in that. Okay, so everyone has a point.
Evan, your chance to take the lead. Don't choke.
All right. This is a good one. This is back to Clue again. What is the name of the murder victim in Clue?
Let me think about this for a while, just because it's going to make John just roll his eyes and be very extra dramatic over there.
I'll laugh if you get it wrong. I'll laugh if you get it wrong.
It's Mr. Body.
It is Mr. Body. So you got 2 points so far.
I wouldn't have got that.
All right. So, John, how many checker pieces does a player start with?
$12.
Yep, that's right. So we got 2 and 2 and Nathan 0.
No pressure, Nathan.
No pressure.
No, he's got one. He got the right.
He got one.
Yeah,
Okay,
one.
okay,
Get the Pictionaries, yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did. So it's 2-2-1. Okay. In the game of backgammon, how many checkers do each player have?
16?
Oh, that was so close. It's 15.
Oh,
so close. All right. Here's a good one. Evan definitely knows this one. In the game of Twister, how many colored circles are in each row on the map?
In each row?
In each row. How many colors? So the colors, there's one of each color in a row. So how many colors are in a row, basically?
4.
No, 6. He's like, that's a Twister game there. It's 6. All right. In the game of Boggle, John, what is the minimum word length?
Is it 4 letters?
No, it's actually 3. Nathan, in the game of Connect 4, how many checkers does each player have? So what do we have? 1, 2, and 2 still? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh no, I'll go with 24.
You're so close. It's 21.
Oh,
All right, Evan. In Candyland, what is the name of the final destination?
King Candy's castle?
No, it's actually Candy Castle. So super close, but
Yeah.
no.
You're thinking Wreck-It Ralph?
The entire time I play that game with my child, I envision taking this into my temple. So
All right. So for John, we're still batting low here. In the game of Mancala, how many pits does each player have? If you can
Give me a
visualize, what's that?
But give me a second while I go and grab my copy of Mancala.
he has to pee.
You have to pee real quick. Don't mind me. Oh, I'm trying to remember here because it's been like ages. So there's the communal one here. I think it's 5.
No, it's even. It's 6 because it's 3 on each. Most of the time, you have the fold-up board, and there's 3 on each side.
Yeah, yep, that's right. I was like, is it 5 or 6? Yep.
I know Nathan knows this game, so I'm not going to give him this question. So I'm going to give him this question instead because I'm just not nice to Nathan. In the game of Mastermind, how many pegs does the code breaker use to guess the secret code? Also, remember, you did play a game that is based on Mastermind. It's the same game.
I have actually played Mastermind too, but just once.
Okay.
Oh. Was it 3? I don't remember.
No, it's 4. Close. So Evan, this game I couldn't give to Nathan because he knows the answer. In the game of Sequence, how many sequences does a player need to get to win? Nathan's like, I played Sequence a lot when we were kids. We even made our own
I've never
boards.
played Sequence, so I have no idea. So 4?
No,
Oh.
it's only 2.
21?
It's only 2.
Oh.
Well, we made the board because there wasn't an actual existing version of it.
All right, so we're still
only way you can get it.
We're still 1, 2, and 2.
Yep.
So keep me honest if I forget someone's score. But this one's for John. In the game of cribbage, how many points does a player need to win?
I've never played cribbage. What am I? Like, I'm not a grandmother. Why don't you go get me a grab pack of Pall Malls while you're at it?
You can just randomly guess.
So I'll say 11.
It's 121.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
didn't know if it was like a low one or a high one. It's kind of like one of those.
So Nathan, in the game of Quiddler, how many cards are dealt to each player in the first round?
Whittler?
Quiddler. Yeah, it's a card game.
Yeah, I've heard of it before,
I
but
think you even have it. I'm pretty sure.
no.
I'm
I think
pretty
I
sure you
might have
might.
it on my shelf.
I know nothing about it beyond the name.
I know I have it. Too.
So how many cards is each person dealt?
Yes.
7?
That's 3. You're like, I'm just gonna do 7 forever because Uno, I know it now. So Evan, in the game of categories, how many lists are there in total?
I can make up things too. Hoobity doo.
You got it?
Um,
This one's perfect for Nathan.
8.
No, there's 12. There's the game for you, because Nathan might know it. In the game of Balderdash, what are the 4 categories of words or phrases?
What specifically are the 4 categories?
Yes.
Oh, come on. I played Balderdash once. And it was like in a Pizza Hut.
No idea?
So pepperoni, sausage.
I'll give you one of
Yeah.
them. One of them is words. So you have 3 left.
Words. Numbers.
Nope, wrong. Does Nathan know the other 3? Not that you'll get a point.
There's the initials. There is movies
Yes.
and laws.
Yes. But you don't get the point because I gave it to him instead.
But that's not really fair. You potentially give me the ones I won't know.
Right. Well, you might know this one. In the game of Bananagrams, how many tiles are in the initial starting pool? This is so much fun for anyone. Just me.
I do own this one. I have played it like twice.
Mhm.
There's not that many tiles in the game, period. So it's going to be a lower number. So
I'm pretty sure you're
so
wrong.
in this, what?
Say a number.
So this is the number of tiles each player gets, or
In the initial pool that's available to pick from. So
oh,
it's all the tiles.
oh, okay. 48.
144.
Oh, really? Wow.
All right. Maybe Evan knows this one. In the game of Parcheesi, how many pawns does each player have?
6.
No, it's 4. All right. This is for John. We're gonna someone get points in here because this is so bad. In the game of Trivial Pursuit, what color represents the entertainment category? I play a lot of Trivial Pursuit, but I did not know this answer.
I've played a little bit, but it was a long time ago. All right.
I'm gonna give Nathan this one next. It's gonna be hilarious.
I have a feeling. I'm just trying to think if it could be anything else. Which one's the category I'm looking for?
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
So you have those weird wedge-colored things.
Yeah, I know. Science was that color. I'm thinking it was the pink category.
You're right. So you're at 3. You're 1 away from winning. You might actually get the other people out of their misery because Nathan's not going to know this next one. What board game was used by the French military to train during the 19th century?
Sounds like something I should actually know. Oh, but
You give up?
I'll say diplomacy is probably wrong. I'm
no,
sure
it's actually
wrong.
Risk.
Really?
Yep. All right. So Nathan knows the answer.
I was going to say Stratego.
Nathan knows the answer to this one. I don't know if Evan does. What is the largest board game ever commercially produced?
Like, what do you mean by largest?
basically volume size.
Okay, well, okay.
But,
I didn't know if you mean like literally like.
So it's going to be, in this one, it's going to be
Volume?
like the maps that get put out and the size of the board, basically.
I can think of a few
I have
things
a
this could be,
guess.
This one
Depending
by
on-
far crushes them all.
depending on how you define it. But I think I know.
I already told you the trick to it. It's the size
Yeah.
of the board and how many boards are in it and how many things you have to do. It's massive.
Campaign for North Africa.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
So you're 3-3
Yeah,
and Nathan has 1.
You kind of walked him
Yep.
into it, but that's all right.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
was
let
thinking-
someone win against it. All right.
Well, we're tied though.
All right. John, this is an easy one for you. Don't worry, you'll get it. What is the first board game published in the United States? You make me giggle.
I mean, I know it's not right,
Okay.
but I mean, it felt like it defined a lot of, I don't know, Monopoly.
Nope, it's Travel's tour through the United States, and no one's ever going to get that one.
Yeah.
You should have said Stratego.
All right, I'm going to give a nice one to Nathan. So, which board game was banned in the Soviet Union during the 1980s for being too capitalist?
Monopoly?
Yes, Nathan is on the board with 2 points.
Should be just banned everywhere.
All right.
And I like my Ed Sheeran
Here's
version.
Evan.
Mhm.
In 2004, what board game was played on a giant floating board in London?
Catan? I don't know.
Nope, it was Scrabble. All right, John, for potentially the win now. Which board game was used by the British Secret Service during World War II to hide and smuggle escape tools?
Oh, I've heard this before, but I don't remember. Hmm. Operation. I don't know.
No, it was actually Monopoly.
Oh, come on.
All right, Nathan, in which country was the game of Go invented?
China?
Yes, so you're 3-3 now. Now won't be...
Just
That
give
was an
him a
easy one, yeah.
softball.
Yeah, but he was being so mean onto me early on. So
All right, yeah, so now we're all good.
Yeah, but you deserve it though.
All right, Evan.
Hey.
Yeah.
You should know this one, Evan. What board game was invented by the architect Alfred Mosher Butts during the Great Depression? What board game did Mr. Butts create during the Great Depression?
Monopoly?
No, Scrabble.
Yeah. No, Monopoly was invented by a woman. Come on now.
Whatever. But, you know, which board game invented in 1971 was inspired by the oil crisis? This is for John. I got one for Nathan after this.
1971. And the only games I know that were made around that was like a used car salesman game. It wouldn't be careers, I don't think. Around the oil.
So the exact thing is that which board game was invented in 1971 was inspired by the oil crisis?
Nuclear war. I don't know.
The Game of Life. All right.
that
Now,
was
this
gonna be
one-
my guess.
This one's a little cheaty, but let's see if Nathan knows. What is the first board game that used a smartphone app as an integral part of the gameplay?
So there was Mansions of Madness, but before that, there was that Yo-Ho Sailors, but I don't think that's the answer. I'm gonna go with the Oho Sailor. So what? I think that's what it's called.
XCOM. The board game.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Evan, this one's super important here. Which board game was banned in prisons because it was thought to teach inmates how to run criminal empires? So what board game would be super old that would be teaching people to run criminal empires? This is also very stupid.
Figured.
I don't know.
Diplomacy. Like full circle on that one. All right. What popular board game was invented by a Swiss watchmaker as a way to pass time while waiting for watch parts to arrive, John?
Why couldn't you ask me where the game of Go was created? Uh, Watchmaker?
Yeah.
In what time?
Doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Says, which game was invented by a Swiss watchmaker as a way to pass time while waiting for watch parts to arrive?
Solitaire.
No, Pit. Had a bell, too, even. All right. Nathan, which board game was created by a Canadian couple as a way to entertain their friends during parties?
Well, no sequence was Canadian, so we'll go with that.
No, it's Trivial Pursuit.
Ah,
Eh?
All right, here you go, Evan. What board game was originally designed as a three-dimensional version of an ancient Indian game? Pachisi.
Can you repeat the question?
Can you use it in a sentence?
No. What game was
Country of origin.
originally designed as a three-dimensional version of an ancient Indian game, and the Indian game is called Pachisi. Pachisi.
don't tell me the answer is what I think it is.
Probably.
Three-dimensional.
One of you guys is eventually going to win here, and it's not going to be Evan.
Vertigo.
'Cause- No, it's Ludo.
I don't know.
Okay. I was
What?
hoping like it didn't make sense for Parcheesi, but
Yeah,
it
it's
did sound
Ludo.
like
So, what was the first board game played in space, John? Which is very surprising. It's the first board game played in space, but what was it?
All right. Can't have too many parts.
I'm gonna go all night before one of you guys win here. Oh, also, I'll just give a Clint your clue. You're wrong. You made a statement. It's wrong,
Really?
but it's not going to help much. But you're wrong.
Ticket to Ride.
Scrabble.
Uh,
Nathan, which board game was invented by the British Royal Air Force pilot during World War II as a way to pass time between missions?
Yahtzee.
Clue.
At this point, we're just guessing.
All right.
Yeah.
Evan, what country was chess invented in?
That would be a very highly debated question, I think.
I don't think. I think it's well known. I think.
England?
India.
America.
India.
America.
Yeah, there's a lot of
America,
debate
yeah.
over what game it's based.
I don't think.
or
I think it's
originated
straight
from.
up the game. But I have to look it up. All right.
So I might have won now.
Really?
Yeah, if it's debated, I'm saying
Oh,
that
okay.
I won. Because
I'm saying no. In what country was backgammon first played? John?
France.
Yeah, Iran.
Knew it was that part of the world, Middle East.
Which board game, Nathan, was invented in 1940 by a Danish inventor to help his son with math?
I'll go with Yahtzee.
Mastermind?
Oh,
All right, Evan. Which board game dating back to around 3000 BC was found in the ancient city of Ur?
Ray.
No, it's really is the royal game of Ur.
yeah, Royal Game of Ur. Come on.
I love. Okay. What game? In what year was the board game Clue patented, John? You could come close from the previous things we did talk about, but
Yeah.
I thought you just actually said it.
1959.
close. 47.
uh,
All right, we're gonna give up here.
I was trying to remember if it was like World War One or World War Two. So
Well, he just gave a clue that it was in the 40s.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really that listening.
Here's one Nathan won't get, so I'm just gonna give it to him. What is the world record for the most players in a single game of Monopoly? You're just not-
127.
585.
I knew it was really high, but
Okay, here you go. This one's easy one for Evan. What board game was invented by a German dental technician in 1970?
Easy. Everybody knows this one.
Which one? Yeah, everyone knows. How do you not know this?
Yeah.
German dental technician in the 1970s.
Yeah. You're the history
Everybody
buff.
knows
Of
this.
course you know this. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's just in every textbook. Everyone.
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, Stratego.
No, it's Rumicubes.
oh, wow.
You know, they look like teeth, I guess. John, which board game was popular during the 19th century, was invented by a British Army officer in India? Also, you could get it from those things we said earlier, but no, it actually can't. It's not the same game.
Clue.
Oh, I think
I don't know.
Snakes and Ladders.
Uh,
This game, so I'm going to give Nathan a clue, was already a game mentioned. And this is what board game was created in 1980s as a satirical response to the Cold War?
I know this one.
I'm pretty sure John does.
I can't. We'll say Heat Pedal to the Metal.
It's Nuclear War. These are all games. All right. This one is a game we also said too. So this goes to Evan and not very old. What board game features a board that is an exact replica of the floor plan of a real castle in Germany?
Castles of Burgundy.
Yes! Finally, someone wins.
what? Castles of Burgundy and not Castles of Mad King Ludwig?
Nope, it's
No.
Castles of Burgundy.
Oh.
Mad King Ludwig is kind of like a randomized.
So
castle.
Evan is our final winner. I hope you guys enjoyed this. A large amount of trivia that just occurred today.
I don't know if Evan's really the winner though.
No, he won. He won. He
Well,
wins
he won the
all
game.
the bragging rights. He wins all.
He won the
bragging.
game, but I don't know if that makes him a winner.
Yeah.
Actually, all our viewers are the winners for watching me dance.
Woo!
Yeah, there you go.
Ugh.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this foray into luck-based games and non-luck-based games, and you all have a good night.